Hey everyone, welcome to Creating with Jazzy Bundles. Today we are going to make tuck and fold cards. Let's get jazzy. My name is Jenny and this is Creating with Jazzy Bundles, the channel where we take our simple supplies from your neighborhood craft store or favorite online retailer and turn them into one-of-a-kind pieces of art. If you like this video, hit subscribe before you leave and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. And with that, let's get started on today's craft. For your tuck and fold cards, you will need the following supplies. Some cardstock. Today I'm going to use some patterned paper from this pack that I got at Michael's. It's at least a year, if not more old, but it has all these different patterns in it. And they're actually double-sided paper, which is really cool. And then I'm also going to use some solid white and black cardstock, just 8.5 by 11 size sheet of cardstock, and I'll show you how to cut it here in just a minute. And I get my cardstock at Michael's and just use the Recollections brand. You're also going to need some adhesive, and I'll probably end up using my double-sided tape and my art glitter glue. And you're going to need something to cut with, either a ruler and some scissors or a paper trimmer or a guillotine, something like that, whatever you're the most comfortable with. And then you're going to need to be able to fold your card in a couple of spots. So you're going to either need a ruler and something to score your paper with, or a scoring tool, or just fold it yourself, whatever you're the most comfortable with and you like to use. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So when I first saw these cards, I thought they looked really cool and really intricate, and I thought they have to be really hard. But then I came to find out that they are so super simple and really only have, it really only takes 2 pieces of paper for one card. And then with that 2 pieces of paper, you really can get 2 cards if you're doing similar or the same cards for your bases. So I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. But these cards are really cool because they can be as simple as you want them to be, or as complex as you want them to be and intricate. If you want to add a whole bunch of layers and embellishments, if that's your kind of a thing, then you can keep adding. Today I'm just going to make really simple ones. If you're like me, you probably have a lot of paper and paper cardstock packs like the one I showed you earlier. I've got a whole bunch of these scrapbook paper pads, so time to use them up, and so I thought I would just make some really simple cards with them. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your base color cardstock, whether it's white or black or even colored like this one I used the color on, and you're going to lay it in front of you lengthwise, okay, so that the longest part is straight across horizontally in front of you. And think through this for just a second. What you're going to do is you're going to end up cutting it in half so that you have 2 pieces that are each 4 1/4 inches wide and the entire 11 inches long. So that is one cut that you're going to be making. Then on your next cut, you're going to take 3 inches off of the end of each one of these. Now you could also take 3 inches off before you cut it in half, whatever's easiest for you. I like the idea of cutting it the long ways first before the shorter piece at the end, just because for me I feel that once I would take this off, this is so close to square, I would get myself confused of whether I'm supposed to be cutting this way or this way. So for me, it was just easier to cut it the long ways first and then take this 3 inches off. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to score it about 2.5 inches in, or if you want to go the other way, it's the 5.5 inches, so that you have your card, your regular base card. It's going to end up being 4.25 by 5.5, just like any other A2 card. Now, in one of my other videos, I showed you a trick where I actually scored it first so that I only had to score once instead of scoring each one of these pieces. You could definitely do that and make your score and then cut in half and cut 3 inches off. Whatever you're the most comfortable with as you're doing this, go ahead and cut your papers. So I already have my 2 pieces cut because I used one of the white ones earlier for this card so that I could show you a couple of examples that I had done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to cut my 3 inches off, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer. You want to save these pieces because they are a great size to be able to go in the middle. So one of your pieces becomes your card base and the other piece becomes this middle piece. And then the second piece of paper that you'll need is going to be whatever design you want to be able to put as your layer here and in the corner. So that's your second piece of paper that I said. So next we're going to score this. You can either score it at the 2.5 mark. I was looking for my bone folder and it's right here. You can either score it at the 2.5 mark or at the 5.5 mark, whatever you want to do. Either way, they both work. On my card. What's great is these cards are just so simple and quick to make, but the end result is really, really cool. And especially if you add embellishments and all kinds of crazy stuff to it, you can definitely have something looking really intricate depending on what you want to do. All right, so here's our 2 card bases and our 2 pieces that will go in the middle here. So I'm just going to set these aside for a couple of minutes and pull over my other pieces that I had set aside for these cards. So I pulled out some paper for my cards. That first one I pulled was this one that has ghosts and spider webs and pumpkins and the candy, and it's all kind of has a foil, a holographic foil on it. And then I had another piece that has spider webs with the holographic on it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to cut one piece that's going to fit on here, okay? And so this piece here is 2.25 by 4 inches. That's the piece that you're going to need for this. So 2.25 by 4 inches for this layer here. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to cut a 2 by 2 square. Here's the other piece of this one, a 2 by 2 square, and then cut it in half diagonally so that you have 2 triangles. This triangle is going to make the little pocket that your piece is gonna tuck into here, okay? The other piece that you're gonna want, if you use a dark card, you're gonna want to probably cut a piece of either white or cream, something that goes with your colors that you're using, that can be in kind of an insert in here so that you've got a place to write, unless you've got some type of a cool glitter pen or something like that, something that will write on black, maybe a white pen, white gel pen. Okay, and then for my white base card here, I chose the ghosts, and I really liked what I ended up having to do here. I just thought it was really plain to just leave this white, a single layer. I had done this one first, and so I liked the look of the layers. So instead of just leaving it white, I added another layer of my stars in the back here. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I cut a larger piece of this for back here. Go there. And this will go here. And this one here for the inside is, I think it's 5 1/4 by 4. Yep, 5 1/4 by 4. So it's just an eighth of an inch border all the way around. So it's just in the middle, just like you would normally do a layer for your A2 card. Okay, and then I'm going to take my white and put it on top of that, so it'll be like this. Okay, all right, so and then whatever you want to decorate with, I pulled out some sentiments and some sayings from that scrapbook paper pack, so that everything kind of goes together and works. So that's what I did. And just realized I might need one more piece of white. Let's see. Or not. There we go. This white one that's going to get layered on top of the one for the ghosts here is actually 3 1/4 by 5. So make it a 1/4 inch shorter, or an eighth of an inch shorter on all 4 sides, or a 1/4 inch shorter on 2 sides than your base layer, so that it all works out together. This did not cut straight. Trim this up. All right, time to start assembling. So we'll do this one first here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue down. I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this. Put this on here. And then I'm actually going to use my double-sided tape. I like to use my double-sided tape on the layer that, especially on the layer that I write on. It's just me. But you can do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy and is easiest for you. And this is just some fairly inexpensive double-sided tape that I got off Amazon. It's actually the same type of double-sided tape that I use for my glitter tumblers when I'm doing like stripes or something like that. It's the exact same tape, and it holds extremely strong, so it works really well for me for my cards. All right, I'm gonna layer this on the inside here. Now for your little corner piece, what you're going to do is you're going to line it up with your layer. It doesn't go all the way to the edge. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you really just need it on this layer and kind of line it up with the corner. So when you go to put this tape or this glue on, you just want to put it on these two sides here, the one that comes to your 90-degree angle. Otherwise, if you put glue here, when you go to tuck one of these pages, when you go to tuck this under, it is going to be glued down. So you can see how that's kind of going to go together. Okay, so I'll go ahead and glue this. 2 lines. Now, if you had really thin double-sided tape, you could probably use it. I think the liquid glue allows you to get it a little bit closer to the corner and your edges and not worry so much about if it's kind of leaking to the middle or overflowing to the middle. All right, and if you're using black paper like me, it clears dry, so that helps for all the crazy escaping pieces. All right, the next part is to figure out what we're gonna do for our paper here. So I think what I want to do, actually I'm gonna put this one together so I can figure out the best way. And I'm making these sideways, but you don't have to. You could, just like this other one that I made, you could make them up and down. So this one was up and down this way. This one is sideways. The two I'm making right now are going to be sideways. You could put your tuck down here at the bottom if you wanted to. I mean, really it's just, you're only limited by your imagination of how you want to put it all together. So do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. I will say, I know the other one I put this layer on first before the inside, but I just did it reverse for this one, and it's a little easier to make sure that your lines are all matched up if you do the bottom one first, because then you can just kind of, when you put this one on, it's just easier to see your straight lines. So it could be something to think about when you go to do yours. For this part, I'm going to do my double-sided tape. If you haven't seen it, last week we put out another fun fold card making tutorial for Z fold cards. So if you haven't seen that yet, I'll put the link up, and it's going to pop up here on the corner. You can go and hop over and see that when you're done with this one. That one is also super easy and doesn't really use up a lot of cardstock either. Very similar to this one. And again, for that one, just like this, you're really just limited by your imagination, and it can be super simple or really intricate if you use a lot of embellishments. When I first started to make cards though, I didn't have dies and stamps. I had paper. I had a lot of paper because I decided I was going to use the scrapbook paper, which now I've got a ton of scrapbook paper pads because of that. But you can see in making these cards that they're really easy to use, and all the paper coordinates together, which is kind of cool. One less thing for you to think about as you're doing that. Okay, now I need to add my little, I made my square so that I could get the little ghost and cobweb up here in the corner. I thought that was cute. Right, now I was thinking, let's see. I think I'm going to cut a piece of white to go behind this. So this is 3 by 4 1/4. So I'll cut 4 by 2 3/4. Let's see, will this fit on here? Should I trim it? Oh no, that's perfect. This will go on here, and that will go on there, and that sets it out real nice. All right, time to glue this all together too. I'm just gonna use my liquid glue because it's quick and easy, and I'm not gonna write on this layer. Greeting on. Real quick, add this one. So last week we also released our new blog. So if you haven't stopped by to check it out yet, down in the description I will leave the link to it so that you can stop by. We have directions and templates and tutorials and challenges and all kinds of really cool fun stuff there, and it's a great and easy way for you to be able to contact me if you've got any questions or requests for tutorials or anything else like that. So I would love for you to come and check it out and swing by, so please let us know what you think. All right, so now it is time to put our top layer here on here so that it can tuck up underneath. So the best way for me, I like to tuck it up under here and then see kind of how far I want it in or out, kind of where it would go. So kind of goes up to the O and the end of this E here. So that is the mark in which I am going to put my glue. I don't want to put too much, otherwise I'll be gluing my card shut. That would not be good. All right. sure it's in the middle again and lined up straight across would help. And there's that one. All right, we'll let that dry for a second and do the same thing over here. Kind of goes to this mark. There we go. Just like that, we have two super cute, very different fun fold cards that just tuck up underneath. And there you go. I think the holographic part of it makes it look really cool too, especially in that light. So I hope you had a great time and enjoyed making these cards with us. Don't forget to click subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. We would love to hear from you in the comments or on our social media. Show us your creations. If you enjoyed this tutorial, check out our other fun fold cards here. And if you want to watch some of our other crafty videos, check out this playlist here.